Alright, welcome back to part 2 on the 99 VTR 250. As you can see right now, currently, we have nothing here, and that is because yesterday I pulled the bike apart and I mocked up the tail light and indicator assembly, did it all off camera. But today I'm going to fit it all for the final time and wire it up, and that'll be the smoked out LED indicators and the smoked out LED integrated tail light. I've fitted the smoked out LED indicators at the front, so you know they used to stick out right out here, but 1, 2. I just haven't wired anything up yet. This being an old bike, I'm probably going to need to install a flasher relay. So I suspect after I wire up the 2 indicators at the front, 2 indicators at the rear, and the LED brake light, I suspect when I turn the indicators on, I'm probably going to have like a super fast flash. So we'll see how we go. If that's the case, I'll have to order a LED flasher relay and install that so it all flashes normal. So let's get into it. So this is the box that goes under the pillion seat. The brake light bolts into these 2 holes here. The wiring goes through that big one. This was one big whole piece, but as you can see, I've kind of had to hack it up into a few different spots. It looks rough, but I'm about to get the sander out and clean up all these edges. We might give it a bit of a paint, and then we'll fit that back up in there with all the brake lights and indicators. But before I do that, I'm going to have to, I already know on the parts that I'm fitting on that side of things, I already know which each wire is which. I just have to go through these wires and figure out which wire is which. Might have to chop some plugs off here and do some soldering to get it all to work. But yeah, by the end of this video, I'll have a whole new arse end to this bike. Alright, so I've done this tail piece, so this is the piece that goes under here. However, if I hold it from this angle it looks fine, but I messed up a measurement and drilled one of the indicators on the piss, so the right one is higher than the left. So I'm still going to wire all this up, but that just really irks me, so I'm going to try and find someone selling one of these tail boxes and redo the fitment, but for now it'll get me by. Alright, so that's what the new taillight and indicators look like. Chuck the seat on just so you can sort of see what it looks like fully. But that's what it looks like once it's on the bike. Like I said, this indicator that sits higher than the other one really pisses me off, so I'm gonna have to redo that. But so like I said, in regards to these wires, which are all the new indicators and the new brake light, I know what all these wires are, which one is which, but the wiring that is on the bike here I have to figure out myself, which will be pretty straightforward because I can see where all these plugs go to. So this is the old brake light slash running light. So I know the brown and the 2 greens are that. I just have to figure out which is which is why I have my trusty test light. Then I just got to figure out the indicators. So yeah, I'm gonna get the test light out and get to figuring out what's what. So that right there tells me that the black wire with the brown stripe is just your normal running light. So we'll go to the next pin in this plug and hit the brakes. So the green with the yellow stripe is the brake light, and I'm guessing that green is probably just an earth. For whatever reason they made it green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this plug off and label them. So what I've done is I've chopped the green wire on the loom on the bike, which is the earth for the brake lights, the black on the loom of the new brake light. I've pre-put heat shrink there. I'm going to solder this, chuck the heat shrink over the top and solder that. Chuck the heat shrink over the top and shrink that over it so nothing can earth out anywhere. Now what I'm using here is a super cheap soldering iron, electric powered, and some really shit solder. Doesn't really work the greatest, but we do what we've got. In a past life I was an automotive accessory fitter, and when I used to do that job I had a snap-on gas powered soldering iron which was so good, just so good, but I don't have that anymore. So as you can see, we've soldered that wire. That's the earth wire. I'm going to chuck the heat shrink over it now, shrink that down, and then we'll just do a little test of the brake light and running light. And I think the number plate light is hooked up to that too. Alright, so that's the earth wire done. I probably should have used bullet connectors like those if I ever want to take it apart again, and that's probably the most ideal thing, and I am going to take it apart again to replace this tray. But look, nothing's better than a soldered connection, so when I get a new one of these, if I can find a new one of these trays, I'll just chop it and resolder it. Alright, so before I solder anything, this red wire is the brake light, also number plate light, and then this yellow wire is the running light. So theoretically, when I turn this key now, the running light and the number plate light should come on, and then when I hit the brakes, the brake light should illuminate brighter than all the rest. So let's give it a go. Alrighty, I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the LED running lights and the number plate lights illuminated. So now I'm going to hit the brakes and see if it gets any brighter. There you go. Working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, solder those, heat shrink them, and then all that's left is the indicators. So I'll wire up the indicators in the rear, and then I'll wire up the indicators in the front. And then after that, there's nothing left but to tidy up all the wires and tuck them in nice and neat and chuck the seat back on, and we're good to go. I probably should have mentioned when I said I was a automotive accessory fitter once upon a time. If anyone that I used to work with sees this, they can tell you I hated wiring. I hate doing wiring, it's the worst. Especially things like light bars and spotlights and all that shit and dual battery systems, I hate all that shit. So this is very basic. It's literally like match the wire to the wire on here. But yeah, anyway, I probably should have mentioned also that with this tail light, it also has integrated indicators. Now, where I live in Queensland, you're not allowed to have, like, you can't delete your indicators and just have them in here integrated. It's illegal. So what I tend to do with my bikes is I'll still fit aftermarket LED indicators, but I'll wire them in to the indicator there. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So that's the number plate light and the running lights. Now we'll do the brake light, front brake, rear brake. Now, if I wired this up correctly, the LED indicator and the integrated indicator on the tail light should work, which it does. It's flashing fast. So it's flashing a bit fast. I might need a LED flasher relay. Apologies for the terrible lighting. I've just shut the garage door so you can get a better look at this. So I've now, it's all done, front indicators, rear indicators, and integrated brake light with indicators. I also chucked some LED bulbs in my dash to make it a bit brighter at night time. So I'll give you a look. So this is the tail light. So that's just your normal running lights when you turn the key. That's what it looks like. You've got your two running like Parkers and an LED light for the indicators. Then we have the brake lights, which is pretty bright. Now, as for the indicators, they flash super fast. It's an old bike and I need a indicator flasher relay. But I'll just show you. So right indicator, and like I said, they're an integrated tail light. So inside the tail lights here, there's also indicators integrated into it. So that's this right indicator, left indicator, and then as for the front, so I don't know about you guys, but this little tiny indicator looks better than that. And same for the rear. So that's the indicator. That's what was there. I do have a before picture, so I'll chuck in a before picture now. And this is the after, so you be the judge. So yeah, all I gotta do is get myself a LED flasher relay, chuck that in, they'll flash at the normal speed that indicator should. I also do have a cowl coming for the front of this headlight. I'll insert a picture here. Once I've installed that cowl, I'll probably do these tomorrow, but I got some new grips, some pro grips. This is what I had on the Yamaha FZ8. Loved them. I was going to do like what I did with the FZ8 and get the ones with the red sort of accents on it, but I just went with all black this time. So once the grips are fitted, the cowl is fitted for the front. Hopefully that works. All that's sort of left to do to this bike looks wise is get rid of that hideous exhaust. I'm going to try and find something a bit better. I did buy that other exhaust that I had in the first video when I picked this bike up, or part one, sorry, but there's no capabilities to put a silencer in that exhaust. So I've taken the silencer out of this one and it's super loud. And I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it or not. Every time I take it out, I seem to revert back to putting the silencer back in just to make it a more enjoyable ride. It sounds cool at low RPM without a silencer, but when you're on the highway doing 100, 110, it's screaming. So I always put the silencer back in this one. So yeah, new grips, chuck the cowl on, which I'm waiting for in the mail, change the exhaust out to a black exhaust, and then after that, taking the tail off, the tank off, and the front mudguard. I'll be sending that off to get the dent fixed in the tank. I've bought all new Honda decals, so I'm just going to get it resprayed black, chuck the new decals on, clear over it. I will be getting the wheels painted gloss black as well. They're kind of in a gunmetal grey colour. So it's just going to be black wheels, everything resprayed black headlight cowl. I think that'll be it for looks. After that, I do have on order some new front and rear brake rotors. The front one, I'm getting a waved rotor. I'll insert a picture here. And for the rear brake, I'm just getting a standard rear brake rotor, chucking that on. And yeah, after that, it's all just going over the bike whenever I get some time and sort of cleaning certain bits, because it's obviously got 24 years of dirt here and there on it, so up other bits here and there, and that'll be it. That'll be build complete. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching part 2 of the 99 VTR 250 build. If you haven't checked out the previous 2 videos, which was obviously part 1 and obviously the original video, which was titled New Bike Day, go check that out. Do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.